from the studios of the Bakersfield, California, it's time to open up with real people, real talk about real stuff. And now, a special welcome to our friends throughout California, across the nation, and around the world to this week's edition of Open Up.
Hey, welcome to Open Up. Good morning. I'm Tina Miller.
And I'm Don Clark.
We are your favorite pair on the air.
You bet, we're working at it. Hey, I wanted to say a special thanks. You know, we've been saluting everyone around the world, but up and down, here up in Visalia and Modesto and Stockton and Sacramento, everybody here in the Valley. Sure glad you're with us.
Certainly glad. Oh, Dawn, it is our 100th episode.
Isn't that amazing?
Of Open Up.
Isn't that amazing?
Season 3 and episode 100.
We started out 2 years ago saying, well, let's give it a try and let's see if we like it and let's see if anybody else likes it.
Yes, Don.
And it just keeps rolling on.
Yes, and we're so thankful you've continued with us and supporting us. So, and today, Don, we're celebrating a little 2-year anniversary.
You put this together. This is good. Look at this fashion here.
Yes, of course. Maybe I'll get a chance to show this to you later, but this is so beautiful. I Heart Fashion and Accessories coming up later in the show, so you don't want to go away. We do have Dr. Vinod Kumar coming up to give us an update on some, Dawn, something that is not done. I think it began here in Bakersfield.
Yes, it's a revolutionary technique for all of us diabetics out there, and stop the amputations of limbs. This is an amazing technology, using the same technology we've used for heart stents. Now, just using it for legs, it's revolutionary, and you're going to hear about it.
Absolutely, Don. And, we've had people to come on the show, guests over the couple of years, and people to support us, and one who stood with us from the beginning, Nature's Food Market and Juice
And we
Bar.
always lift up our juices, and now you're going to see the source. So let's go to...
Yes, let's welcome Chuck Noss. He's been on the show before. Chuck Noss, owner of Nature's Food Market and Juice Bar. Welcome.
Welcome. Good morning.
Located right across the street from the Fox Theater in the old Henley's building. So you had a little corner place way back on a back street, and now you're right out where everybody can see you.
I tell everybody we moved one block out of obscurity.
One block out of it, and it's a bigger place, and I'm hearing nothing but good things about it.
It's been great. A lot of challenges that come with growth, and I tell everyone that comes in, I just couldn't do it without them.
Yeah.
Chuck, every time we come in, I see you counseling people. I mean, customers come in, I see you in deep conversation about matters of health. It's like that's the real calling, not just selling products, but spreading good health to people.
Yeah, don't tell anyone, but I'm just luring them in as much as I can so that I can get that opportunity to talk to them. Somewhat tongue-in-cheek saying it that way, but quite frankly, it's a ministry. If I didn't have this venue, I'm sure I would try doing it in another, but this is probably the best way to reach people. First of all, they're coming in voluntarily.
Right?
Secondly, after their second, third, maybe fourth visit, they're already confident in us, and that's very important. Quite frankly, that's the same method that Christ himself used. Fulfill their needs.
Chuck, tell us about, you moved to this bigger place, and you mentioned it doesn't come without its challenges and things. Tell us about, give us an example of something and how you overcame.
How much time do we got?
And how you overcame it.
We've got 12 minutes. So.
Yeah, really. First of all, I'll tell you, like one of my favorite pastors always said in the past, my challenges, or you can put anything in there, my difficulties, my challenges are God's opportunities. And that's the way we choose to look at it in our case. Challenges come when you grow in the cost and the stress of dealing with more people, more inventory, more responsibility.
Yes.
So I certainly don't want to be heard as complaining.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Of course
although
not.
there are fewer hours in the day to sleep. And so I'm looking for those remedies for the bags under my eyes. But other than that, the energy level is there. This morning when we prayed before opening, I was asking God, give us the energy we need to
Yes.
represent you.
Yes.
And then he does. He comes through every day.
Absolutely.
You know,
Chuck.
Chuck, so much of what you teach is about proper nutrition, healthful nutrition. And here we're coming up on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And we're all going to stuff ourselves. And but you know, Betty and I tried one of your little turkey loaves.
Yes.
You know, with great skepticism, and both of us went, "Wow,
Yeah.
this is as good as the real thing, and
That's
this is
right.
what we're having Thanksgiving."
Yeah.
Oh, did you like put something on it, like a?
Well, we use cranberry
Cranberry
sauce,
and things,
but just
okay.
all by itself, and it makes a great sandwich. And anyway, we were stunned. It was just delicious.
Yeah.
You know, really, if you think about it, for me, Thanksgiving was always a fond memory of just getting the family together in our home, small as it was, as the family continued to grow. My mom, of course, went crazy. But the reality was it was just about being together, you know,
yes.
and all the laughter and conversation going on, just not enough time in the day, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is, even for me, in looking back at hindsight, yeah, you know, the focus was on that big giant bird in the oven that took all night to make sometimes. But look at all the things that were with that. And really, I'm a vegetarian, a vegan, and almost everything really that comes with that giant bird is things that I really love. Even as a kid, I like that more than that dry old meat that they call turkey. So, you know, the celery and the cranberries and, of course, the mashed
carrots.
potatoes, which I
Yes.
probably should only eat once a year anyway. But the biggest advice I could tell everyone is don't eat too much, you know. The general rule is we should eat no more than the size of our fist. Of course, I challenge that rule by saying, was that after I chew it or before I chew it?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
But the reality is we're eating way too much,
Or-
even in special meals especially. You know.
or the size of whose fist? The one that's serving
Your
it to
very
you?
own, yes.
My very own. Okay, excellent. So, Chuck, tell us, I'm sure you have heard many stories about people who've come into Nature's Food Market and Juice Bar
Yeah.
with a problem and not long afterwards have been relieved of that problem.
Yeah.
Share something.
Oh, boy, how many can I relate to? A couple come to mind right away. Actually, a couple of guys. One of them is Mike. And I didn't really get to know him right away, but I noticed, wow, he's coming in every day at the same time, every day. And as time went on, his shirts kept getting baggier and baggier. And now his pants are coming down a little bit. And he's in his early 40s. I'm thinking, nah, he's not one of those little gangbanger guys. What's going on? So I finally got to have a nice conversation with him. And he said, I began being convicted that I'm eating way too much. Portion control, just like we were talking about. But then he realized, I'm not getting enough nutrition. What do I do? And he was, I'm going to use the term, he was led intuitively. He was just kind of led to Nature's Food Market and to the general conviction to drink fresh juice, you know, and doing juicing of good combinations like you've experienced here.
Yes.
And so he shared with me, all I do is I do the juicing and I only eat one meal a day. Now he's lost way over 60 pounds.
Really?
And that's all he's doing. He's not doing any additional exercise or anything else. And so to hear that and to realize, wow, you know, I had a tiny little part in that. And it's life-changing. His life is so changed. And even the mental clarity and all of that
The
come with it.
mental clarity, yeah.
I heard a lecture on the mental sharpenedness of vegans, and there was a reason for that. Can you tell us what that is?
Absolutely. I'm so glad you asked. But rather than listen to me, I would just simply quote Daniel chapter 1. And after that test, which it's so fun, I have a lot of people that might be part of a different congregation where they say, we're doing the Daniel diet.
For those who don't know who Daniel is.
Yeah. Daniel, the very famous prophet found almost exactly in the middle of the Bible.
All right.
So in the book of Daniel, chapter 1, it gives the story of himself and his 4 friends, contemporaries, if you will. And their biblical scholars are estimating they were probably around the age of 17 when they were taken captive, and they were found to be different.
Yes.
and they had a very restricted diet. They felt no restriction in their own. It was a commitment. Anyway, long story short, after this test, that they challenged the king, we don't want to eat of the food you're eating, which in today's language would be a lot of delicacies. Right? Things that cause gout, by the way. So they chose to eat their simple diet, vegan. In the Bible, they use the term pulse. Well, I like to relate that to how good is our pulse. So they were eating the right food, and at the end of the test, the king pronounced that they were 10 times stronger.
Yes.
But my favorite, 10 times wiser.
Yeah, and their countenance as well
That's right. That was the first thing they noticed.
was much better, 10 times.
Well, they were already. That's why they were even asked to be part of that whole group that was being trained to be in the king's court. They knew there's something different about them. Why do you look so different?
But we have identified apparently some kind of chemical action that really does cleanse the brain, clarify the brain, sharpen it, increase its function.
Yes.
Yeah, and that comes from fresh, live foods in general. I can't go too much into that. Maybe the doctor
Right.
could say more about that. I haven't studied chemistry too much. But I know, for example, dopamine. That's good. Things like endorphins, serotonin, melatonin. A lot of these things come from the proper diet.
Yes.
Well, Chuck, we got to have you back many times.
Already?
Have a
Yes.
Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and thanks
Thank
for
you.
making ours more healthful.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
we need you to get back to work and help more people.
Yes, absolutely. Thank
Nature's
you for
Food
having me.
Market and Juice Bar, 2008 Street, right here in Bakersfield. Facebook, Nature's Food Market and Juice Bar, or telephone 661-327-4430, and you will get Chuck Noss. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
And now we'll hear from a doctor who can confirm everything Chuck just told us.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Thank you.